Hey, happy Thursday, rooms 10 and 11. Hope you guys are doing well. Hey, it's time for math. We're in lesson 96. We're on page 709. So go ahead and start grabbing out those math books. Hey, I just wanted to share a little verse with you guys because today's lesson is about noticing the difference between negative numbers and positive numbers. And I feel like that's kind of an aspect of our lives that we have to do sometimes as Christians, where we have to look at events and people and things around us and tell whether or not they're a negative thing or a positive thing. So one of the verses that kind of talks about that is James 4:17. It says, "If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them." So I feel like that's a pretty strong verse. So I mean, basically it's saying, like, if you know the right things you're supposed to do and you don't do that thing, then yeah, that's a sin. Even if it wasn't like you were sinful in the way that you didn't do that thing. So like, let's say I saw someone, I knew they needed help, and I just decided to walk right by. Now, did I hurt that person? Did I physically do something to them that was sinful? No. But the fact that I saw that they needed to help and I chose not to help them, and I knew that was the right thing to do, then God's telling me right there in that verse that that's a sin. But man, sometimes as you guys start getting older and older and you start looking at the people you're hanging out with, you got to look like, wait a minute, is this person having a negative impact on my life or a positive impact on my life? And you really got to assess that. And if it's negative, then you got to step away from that person. I know sometimes it's hard because, maybe you guys have been friends for a long time, but other times, you got to make the right decision for you in your walk with God. All right, hopefully you're open up to page 709. Let me get opened up there myself. So lesson 96, here we go. So in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about finding those negative and positive numbers. Find them on a number line. We're going to talk about solving equations that have negative and positive integers, so just numbers. So it's not too bad. All right, read along with me. Let's crank through this. It says numbers that are greater than 0 are positive numbers. Numbers that are less than 0 are negative numbers. Now 0 is neither positive nor negative. It's neither one. It's special. It's all by itself. All right, turn to page 710. Now, one of those places we see number lines or see negative numbers easily is on a number line, right? So if the number's going to the right, it's going to be on the positive if it's right of the 0. Now, if it's to the left of the 0, then it's going to be a negative number, right? On the number line below, they have a point A. Point A is on -3. So we could say it's -3 or -3. Either one of those works. Another place we see number lines is on a thermometer. So notice the thermometer right there. They're counting by 2s as they go down. So they're like original here 0, then it goes down 2 and 4, and then that's where our black line goes up to. So that tells us our temperature is -4 degrees or -4 degrees on the Celsius scale. Let's check out example number 1. Let's just jump right into these things. It says the high temperature for the day was 6 degrees Celsius. All right, so this is example 1. So we got a thermometer, and let's say here's 0. It was up here at 1 or 2, 4, 6. It was originally at 6 degrees, and we are talking Celsius, but they're saying now the temperature has dropped all the way down. We got -2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's -10 degrees. And then it's all the way down here, one more line further down. So if we're counting by 2s, let's figure out what temperature we got right here. This would be, let's see, the nighttime temperature. So during the day it was 6 degrees Celsius. At nighttime it was all the way down here. So let's see, Josiah, help me out. If we're counting down by 2s and we start at 0, we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There you go. So that's going to be a 12, and then notice we're below 0, so what do I need to put in front of it, Josiah? Got to put that negative sign. Now, but check this out. The main question is asking us, how much did it change from being up here at 6 all all the way down there to negative 12, right? So let's break it up a little bit. So from 6 to 0 would be minus 6 degrees, right? It went down 6. And then it went down 12 more. So let's add these two together. So what's a negative 6, Josiah, plus a negative 12? We got to keep that minus sign, right? And then 6 plus 12? 18. So it dropped 18 degrees from the daytime high to the nighttime low. Now let's check out example number 2. We got our dude Rick. Now it says Rick has a checking account. The amount of money in your account is called your balance. He writes a check and then the balance decreases. So when you write a check or you use your credit card or your debit card, the money comes out of your account. So let's say poor Rick, here we'll put example 2 up here. So Rick only has $7 in his bank account right now. Oh no, that's not good. So Rick's got $7, right? Now he writes a check for $10. So that's more than he has, right? So let's figure out how much he has, or what is his balance going to be in his bank account. So let's go all the way over here. Let's make a little number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here he is with his $7. But then we got to count backwards. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. We got to count backwards 10. So Caleb, help me out as we count backwards 10. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know it might be hard to see, but where did we stop there, Caleb? We stopped at a negative 3. So he has got negative $3 in his bank account right now, which is terrible. And I'll tell you why, because I looked it up just to see what banks are charging, like Bank of America or whoever. They charge $35 every time you spend more money than you have in your bank account. So they're going to charge him $35 more from what he's got right here. So now he owes the bank $38. Isn't that kind of crazy? But hey, we had to use some of their money, or Rick had to use some of their money, so they charged him for it. That's what they do. They're called the bank for a reason. Now, but check this out. They will do this up to 4 times a month. So let's say it's like the beginning of the month and this happens. And Rick decides he wanted to go, get a big old bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Okay, so he spent another $1. Let's say he spent $1. So we got to take another $1 away. And then they charge him another $35. Oh no. So let's see where we're at now. So 38 minus 1, or negative 38 plus a negative 1 was going to be negative 39. And then we're going to go with that 35 and 39. So now he owes $74 to the bank. And they will keep doing that 2 more times. So they'll add another $70. Let's say he goes and gets another bag the next day, and then the next day also. And so, let's make that, so that's $144. And then also for the 2 bags of Cheetos, right? So there's another couple bucks. So $146. So because poor Rick here didn't know how much money he had in his account, look how much he owes now. He owes the bank $146 from writing 1 check and buying 3 bags of Cheetos. All right, so guys, got to make sure you know how much money you have in your bank, just so you know. Someday it'll matter. You'll be like, well, this doesn't matter now, Mr. Poole, but hey, it matters right now for the future. All right, example 3, here we go. Example 3, pretty easy. It's just a math equation. So we got 10 minus x plus 5. And it tells us that x equals a negative 4. So all we got to do is plug that in for the x. So we get rid of our x. We put in negative 4. Now, we got to do parentheses first, right? PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, so negative 4 plus 5 is going to be 1. All right, those parentheses got a little crazy right there. There we go. So we got a 1. There you go, a little better. And then we just got 10 minus 1. So Cassie, help me out. What's 10 minus 1? Come on. Yell it out. All right, there you go. Absolutely, it equals 9. Good job, Cassie. That's a pretty easy one, right? Sweet, I'm going to get rid of this, and then we're going to do, I I think it's example 4, because example 4 is a big one. All right, sit down. All right, here we go. Example number 4. This one's kind of beastly. Here we go. It says complete the function table, and then write an equation to represent the ordered pairs in the table, and then graph the equation. So let's check this out. Let's notice every time we have an x, our y is 1 less. So -2 to -3. We can skip this one for now. We'll figure it out. So we have 0, -1. We have 2, +1. So notice it's just 1 less each time. So if this is a 1, what do you think y is going to be? Let's see. Who could help me out? Vinny. Vinny, help me out with this one. So if this is a 1, Vinny, what is our y number going to be? There you go. Go ahead and say it nice and loud. There you go, 0. Now if we have a -1 here, that means this is going to be a negative what? There you go, 2. So this is what our equation looks like. So no matter what our x is, we're going to take 1 away, and that's going to give us our y. This is kind of like that test question you had for number 1 yesterday. You had to figure out which equation equaled the numbers that were already in that table. Now if I plug in, let's say we go here, I plug in 0. 0 minus 1 is -1. See how that works? Check, check. Now let's plug in this 2. Let's make sure we put the right numbers in here. So if I have 2 minus 1, that equals 1. Does that work? Is our x a 2 and our y a 1? Perfect. Now, we got to plot these out. We got to put these points on this graph and then work them out. So we got -2. Remember, here's our x-axis. Here's our y. So our x is a -2, so that's our side to side. Remember, x is side to side. Our y is our up and down. So we're going to go over -2, then we're going to go down -3 and put our dot right here. So -2 to -3. You sank my battleship. No, just kidding. All right, so we got -1. So now we're going over -1. We're coming down -2. So it's going to put us right here. Now we have a 0 and a -1. So we're staying right here. We don't go anywhere, but we got to drop down -1. Now we got +1 and a 0. So we're going over here 1 time, and we're putting our 0 dot right on that line. And then we got a +2 with a +1. So we go 1, 2, then we go up 1 and put our dot. And then we should be able to draw a line that connects all of those dots together. If we did it right, that line should go right through those dots. Now, if you have a piece of graph paper, it's a lot easier, but this worked pretty good. All right, so let's see if we can get through some of these lesson practice problems before we jump into some of the written practice. So, on A, it says use digits and symbols to write the temperature that is 12 degrees below 0 on a Fahrenheit scale. So if we're at a Fahrenheit scale, we're at 0, and we write a number that's 12 degrees below that, what would that temperature be? Mackenzie, what do you think? Go ahead and yell it out for me. Yell it out louder, come on. So we started at 0, we went down 12. Is -12 degrees Fahrenheit? It's that simple, right? Good job, Mackenzie. All right, let's check out B. It says what temperature is shown on that thermometer? So we got our little thermometer. So this is B. So here's our thermometer. Here's 0, and we are down here. So we got -10, and then we got 2, 4, 6, 8 negatives, and then it looks like our temperature is right between these two. So if we're counting by 2, you go down by 2, right? -2, -4, and we're halfway between 4 and 6. So what would be halfway between 4 and 6? Elodie, what do you think? Tell me, what's halfway between 4 and 6? 5. Now, was it a +5 degrees Celsius? Or was it negative? Look at the graph. Here's 0. We're below 0. Yell it out, Elodie. Positive or negative? There you go. Negative. Cool. So that's -5 degrees Celsius. Let's check out C, as in Cornelius. Let's see. It says if the temperature shown on a thermometer is 14 degrees lower than the high temperature for the day, then what is the high temperature of the day? Okay, so that 5 degrees, our high temperature, we're gonna go up 14 degrees. So, what's -5 plus 14 degrees Celsius? Or, we don't need the Celsius yet, we'll label that over there. All right, let's see. Let's have, Josiah, help me out with this one, bro. All right, so you can think of a number line. So if we start over here at -5, we got 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if we start this -5, Josiah, and we start rolling this way, so it's gonna take us 5 to get that far, right? Now, remember, we're adding 14. So we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go another 5. Where's that gonna take us? We go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're at +5. Positive 10's chilling right there. So far we've added 10. We just gotta go 4 more. So what's 10, or what's 4 more past our +5? So let's keep going. So we got 6, 7, 8. Where'd we stop, Josiah? Yell it out real quick. There you go. So we end up stopping at a 9. And then we cannot forget to label it degrees Celsius. So 9 degrees Celsius. Awesome. Now, if the temperature falls 3 degrees from this temperature, so D, we're at -5 degrees Celsius, and the temperature goes down 3 more degrees, where's that going to take us? What is that temperature going to be? Cadence, help me out here, Cadence. So I'm already at -5 degrees Celsius. I drop down -3 more. What's that going to be? We know it's going to be negative, right? All right, sweet. What's 5 plus 3? Cadence, yell it out. Louder. I can't hear you. Louder. All right, good. -8 degrees Celsius. Awesome. Let's keep rolling. Because we got, that thing flew right out of my hands. Ha-ha. All right. So we got some more problems to do here. We got, let's see if we can talk through E together. It says the balance in a checking account is $6. Whoa. If a check is written for $10, what integer, what number would represent how much is missing from the bank account? So we started at 6 and we counted backwards 10, so we're in the negatives, right? So what's 10 minus 6? This many. So it's just a -4. That's it. Pretty easy, right? Cool. All right, here we go. So we're on to F, G, H, and then I. I'm going to break it down, like give us a whole board to do I. So pretty easy, guys. All we got to do is solve these using the value for x. It tells us x equals a -4. So let's plug it into the equation. So we got 5 minus a -4 plus 4 equals our total. Now, -4 plus 4, guys, check that out. If I've got -4 plus 4, what's that equal? Yeah, it equals 0. -4 plus 4 is 0. They're opposites, right? So that's 0. So now we just have 5 minus 0. 5 minus 0. Johnny, help me out. What's 5 minus 0? 5. Bingo. Good work, man. All right, so let's plug this one in. So all we're doing is plugging in our -3. So -3 for where that Q was. So now we got A plus -3 plus 1. So let's see. Asher, help me out here, bro. If I was at -3 on a number line and I had 1 to it, so a +1, am I going to get smaller? Is it going -4 or is it going -2? Asher, tell me, which one do you think it is? There you go. So -2. So I got 8 plus a -2. Sweet. So let's take that same number line. So now I'm here at 8 and I'm adding a -2. I'm going smaller, right? I'm taking 2 away. Once I take 2 away, where does that take us, Asher? Yell it out nice and loud. Awesome. Takes us right to 6. Sweet. All right, Kiel, I'm coming to you for this one. So Kiel, what are we going to do with this 7? That's right. We're going to plug it in right here. So I've got 2 plus, hold on, let me check that question. Perfect. I got 2 plus 5 minus 7. So I got to do this first because remember, parentheses, we got to do parentheses first. So what if I have 5 and I subtract 7 from it, Kiel? Is that going to be a positive number or negative? Go ahead and yell it out. It's going to be negative. So now we've got a negative. Now what would this be? So 5, if I have $5, I take away 7, that means I have negative $2 left. Oh no, the bank's going to charge me fees. All right, so now I got 2 plus a negative 2, right? Easy. All right, so what's that going to equal for us, Kiel? Go ahead, yell it out nice and loud. 0. Cool. If you need to see how I did one of those, if you got a little mixed up, go ahead, jump back a few seconds, watch it again, you'll be set. All right, here we go. Problem I, still on our lesson practice. Now this one's kind of a monster, so let's do this thing. We need to figure out what numbers are missing in this graph right here. Oh, hold on, pump's going off again. There we go. All right, so we need to figure out what's going on in this, our formulas here with our table. Now, I know that y is going to equal x, either minus something or plus something or times something. Now let's plug it in, let's see if we can figure it out. Let's start with this one because we know both of these numbers, right? So I know if I plug in an O for x, my y is going to equal 1. So 0 what equals 1 over here? Let's see. Joseph, help me out here, bro. So if I have a 0, what am I going to do to make it equal 1? Right? There you go. Exactly. We're just going to add 1. So our equation is y equals x plus 1. So we can plug in any one of these numbers and it works. So let's try it with this one. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. So you see how that worked? We can do it up here too, where we go negative 2 plus a negative 1 equal, oh whoops, plus a positive 1 equals a negative 1. There we go. Now I got my mind about me. Perfect. So this number, our y, is only 1 bigger each time. So if that's negative 1, that means this guy's got to be 0, right? And then we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, and there you go, Joseph, say it. Boom, 2. Sweet, so here's our equation. Now we got to graph this. Pretty easy. Our x is our side to side, our y is our up and down. We got negative 2, negative 1. So we start here at our origin at 0. We're going to go over negative 2, so 1, 2, and then we're going to go down negative 1. Right there. So then we got negative 1, 0. So we're going to scoot over 1, negative 1. So we're going back this way, and then just 0. Now we got 0, 1. So you start at 0 and you're only going up 1 spot. Just like that. And then we go over 1 time and we go up 2 times. And then we go over 2 times and we go up 3 times. And then voila, we draw our line. Sweet, so we just graphed that table and we figured out the equation that got us there. So I could put in any numbers. Let's say I put in x equals 8. That means y is going to equal 9. So I'd come over here 8, I'd go up 9, and that line would still go through the coordinates for that equation. That's pretty sweet. All right, now we're going to go over a few of our written practice. So grab out that math sheet. All right, here we go. I don't know how I did it. I explained all this, and somehow the iPad took a picture of me instead of, filming the whole thing. So, as you can see here, we brought down our minus sign, became a positive sign. So remember, that changes the number behind it to a positive 5. Now, 4 plus 5 is 9. Got to keep that decimal place where it belongs. Now, same thing. We bring this down. Your first number stays the same. Negative 7 stays the same. Minus sign becomes a positive sign, which changes the number behind it to a negative 6. Negative 7 plus negative 6, they're both negative, so it gets bigger. So negative 13. Now, here's the trick. When you're multiplying and your first numbers is 0, you can bring that 0 straight down, and then you start multiplying times the 8. 8 times 0, 0. 8 times 4, 32. Carry the 3. 8 times 5 is 40, 43. Awesome. Now we're multiplying by the 7. Need 2 placeholders. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 8 is 28. Carry the 2. That's 35 plus 2 is 37. Zeros, zeros, 2, 11. Carry the 1. 12. Carry the 1. 4. 421,200. Don't forget that comma. It's important. Now, just a tip on number 26A. We are counting it by twos in that thermometer. Notice it's between two of the lines, so that means it's going to be an odd number. Don't forget to label. B, all we're doing is adding 19 degrees to whatever your answer was for A. Now, 28 is just regular standard probability. So you're going to have your pineapples across the top, you're going to have your total number of fruit all added together for your bottom. Now, number 30, as you can see, bar graph is the way to go. You're going to put your wins on your vertical side, your team names on your horizontal side. And then you got to come up with a couple questions. I didn't finish this, you got to finish your own. Now, B of 30 is coming up with some questions based on this graph. So, let's think it through. Who had the most wins? Something like that. So you got to do 2 questions. That was one, I just gave it to you. All right, I will check you guys tomorrow for lesson 97.